So I recently got together with a couple of my friends and we playtested V6. Um, this particular group of friends has been playing with me since I was a baby storyteller in Kentucky. So they kind of already know my shit, my shenanigans, and my tomfoolery that come with me being their storyteller. So I thought it was a great idea to make them be the ones at my playtest table. Boy, was that a fucking mistake. First things first, I do want to say, these are seasoned players. They actually have been playing longer than I've been playing. And I got their thoughts afterwards. I sat down with them one-on-one. So I got some unfiltered opinions from them. I want to say this is gonna be a fucking mess because my thoughts are all over the place. We did 2 playtests of the not in my domain scenario, and I've kind of separated this into like the goods and the bads. I will not be playtesting this again until it comes out in maybe the beta version. 2 times is enough. I'm good. So getting into it. So in the information for the playtest, it says that it should take between 3 and 4 hours to complete this playtest. Our first playthrough, I timed them because I wanted to see kind of how caught up we got. Surprisingly, not too far off. So the first playtest was about 5 hours, 40 something minutes. And then the second playtest was a little shy of 5 hours. I really don't know how I'm gonna read this because I just made a chart, guys. I just made a chart and it says good and bad and then and some of these have to do with each other. So I guess I'll just go down the list. Okay. My players did actually really take to the new disciplines very, very well. So my buddy Sammy really, really enjoyed some of the new disciplines. Specifically, she was the only one that actually got to see the advantage of discipline maturing, and that was only in our first playthrough. We did not see a single instance of that in the second playthrough, like, at all. It seemed pretty much unnecessary. I feel like that's a mechanic for, like, longer chronicles, not necessarily one-shots, which sucks, because then we didn't get to test out that feature as much. And with that, actually, the other 3 players were a bit upset seeing Sammy mature her disciplines and not getting to do it with their own. I kind of played with the scenario a little bit. I'm also a very big fan of the Rule of Cool, so when she pitched to me, hey, this discipline would mature XYZ, I went, got it. Set difficulties was something that I wasn't necessarily fond of because it felt like it took away a bit of storyteller capabilities. I very much felt like an instrument. I don't know who, but I saw somebody else who was talking about this on like Reddit or something, phrase it as the talking PDF effect, and I really, really liked that because that's very much how I felt. I felt like I was Speechify. I felt like I was reading to them, and that was it. Like, it was a little bedtime story, not a game that we were all collaborating to create together. But the set difficulties made combat run a lot quicker. There was a lot less up in the air of like what you have to meet. So going, hey, all right, remove this, like remove 3 difficulty from your pool, blah, 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 helped make it faster. Yes. It also took away a bit of the tension and suspense that I personally really, really like in my vampire games. I hated not getting to watch my players shake in their boots as I pick up an enormous amount of dice for a random NPC and just go, do you know how much fun that is? To just watch them start, like, digging themselves into this panic. And in reality, it's like, oh no, they just vibe checked you. Like, it's great, and it's missing. That suspense, that tension is missing. I will also say, the social combat was a little jank. A little bit jank. This is not gonna be, like, cohesive thoughts. This is just gonna be me rambling. I already use the Devil's Bargain in my games. If players roll and they don't meet the difficulty, or they fail their roll outright, I always have allowed them to succeed at a cost. So that was nothing new to my players. It's always been in my homebrew. And I know generally how I arrange them, like how I phrase them, the stakes that I put up with succeeding. It worked. And it's really hard to, I think, do this with new players, but them being people who have known me, know my play style, know the themes I follow, they were really, really willing to not fuck with me and give me shitty devil's bargains that I would then have to go, nope, drama points. And I'm glad, because the drama actually very much felt... I fucking hate it still so much. I really hate it. Like, just let me fuck their shit up. But the drama was unfortunately very prominent in the first gameplay. So the NPC statistics were kind of difficult. Not only does it, again, remove suspense and remove tension, but because the combat is pretty much player-facing, it stripped away any, like, ST-PC dynamics that create the vibe of a tabletop game. Not even just Vampire the Masquerade in general. Like, set difficulties, yes, those are a thing, but when I've played Dungeons and Dragons, my DMs rolled against me. When I've played Pathfinder, my DMs rolled against me. When I've played when I was playing the Night Vale one-shot with the Rolling Nomads, Gilbert was rolling against us. Like, I am always used to storytellers rolling against the player characters. It helps with collaboration is the biggest, most important thing with me to tabletop, is having a way to be in control while allowing my players to also be in control. I don't know if that makes sense. It does to me. Heh. But all in all, I felt like I was literally like a shift leader, a manager, being like, okay, and now you're gonna go refill the ice machine, and now I need you to go mop the lobby. Like, I didn't like it. I felt like I was just another mechanic, not a participant. Anyway, moving on. The scenario itself was not bad, honestly. I kind of liked it. I liked the energy of it. The idea of, like, oh, there's this problem, and, like, it's gonna be made your problem, like, blah, 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 blah. I like it. I genuinely think the only reason why I don't like this playtest scenario, this one shot, basically, is because of the V6 mechanics, is because I am so used to and ingrained with V5, V20, and my homebrew of V5, V20, that it was hard to get into these new rules. And when I did, they felt chunky, and I felt like I wasn't having fun. I mean, my players were. They were having a grand old time, which is awesome, but I was not. My players blew through their fucking quickening. Like, it was that last $5 gallon of gas you threw in your fucking tank to get your ass across town to work. They blew through it. And that fucking warehouse scene, man, that second playthrough, that fucking warehouse scene, Oliver and Sammy went quickening. And it just, like, whether it was Sammy trying to get out of, I can't remember the fake names I give these people. I keep wanting to say their real names. So whether it was Sammy trying to get out of being spotted by the hunters, to Oliver wanting to make this insane trick shot with a fucking boomerang. I don't know why he had a boomerang, but I gave him a fucking boomerang. Like, these impossible shots, they were straight up John Wicking with their quickening. I feel like that needs to be a sticker. John Wicking with the quickening. So, despite them blowing through their quickening, one of the players, Jenny, the Ventru, actually mentioned, I'm going to quote this, spending a resource to get out of situations or get some auto success made near all the physical threats feel kind of trivial. I agree with her on that. They were playing very fast and loose when they had quickening, so they knew what they were doing. Like, spend 3 quickening and you're curbing a fucking bullet. Like, so before I get to reading off their words. I need to mention that the humanity or the beast nature tracker did not come into play but once in both playthroughs. I feel like that is something that is going to be very underutilized, which sucks. It is super easy to reset yourself in gameplay. There was only one outburst, and it was actually Beth. It was beautiful because she was playing a Toreador, so she had this whole melodramatic like monologue scene, and it was great. It was great roleplay. But I will say, Beth was the only one that moved towards mortal nature. Everybody else was ticking towards the beast, and that's not fucking hard. Let's be honest. The mechanic has changed for how you mark humanity stains. Well, fill the tracker. I still prefer it being called humanity stains, but whatever. In this scene, in this scenario, my players killed hunters, killed threats against them, because that was the only way to get them off the board in some cases. That's a monstrous act. Again, quote from the playtest materials. Killing a mortal, no matter who it is or what it's doing to you, mark off one box in your beast tracker. Hunters are mortals. Killing hunters means you're killing a mortal, and killing a mortal means you're ticking off that beast tracker. I'm actually surprised we didn't have any bestial moments. Proud of them for that. And before I get into talking about what they had to say about this, my players are not hopeful for this version. I am not hopeful for this version. I'm gonna hold out hope because, again, this isn't even the bones. This is the zygote of what will become V6. Like, I'm gonna give it a chance. I know there's so much to come with this. There's so much that's going to come into play. We haven't even touched the lore proper yet. We've only gotten basic mechanics. And I am a lore girly, but I stand by. I will not be replay-testing this until it's gotten a new update. I believe the dev team said that was going to be November, December-ish. So I'm going to wait. I think I'm just a little disappointed. I truly am. And it's not gonna curb me from wanting to hyperfixate in this version regardless. I love Vampire, I love the community, I love the storytelling medium. I still will play V5, I still will play V20, I will still play the older versions, especially Dark Ages. And y'all, at Gen Con, I don't think I talked about this. I probably did because I'm very excited about it, but I'm gonna talk about it more. Even if I don't like what's going on with the direction of V6 as is, you know what I am excited about? Motherfucking Dark Ages, and motherfucking Changeling, and motherfucking Mage getting an overdue revise. Maybe not revise, maybe just rebranding. But it has been too damn long. And my inner changeling, like, I also want to see them do Demon the Fallen, but I digress. I will still play the old versions. I will probably still eventually play this version. There is nothing that's going to keep me from playing Vampire the Masquerade unless this just ends up being the most horrendous thing for a storyteller to do. Like, truly, honestly, there are people that I know that are on the writers team, on the dev team, that I feel are phenomenal hands to have on this project. They are people who have been in the World of Darkness community and the Vampire the Masquerade community for, fuck it, I'm gonna be mean, my entire life. Some of them. So, with that being said, Jenny, our Ventru, had this to say. While I enjoyed it more than I expected, spending a resource to get out of situations or get some auto success made nearly all physical threats feel kind of trivial. The first game was rough. You kept trying to roll, got caught up on the mechanical changes of Vitae, and no one went full monster or too human. When I had an outburst game 2, though, that rocked. I'm glad that you changed the set drama event, because after we played, I looked through the packet and realized we barely touched that. Good, because what the fuck do you mean they burned down the warehouse? Having the hunters fight us out the chute was awesome. The only thing is, it really felt like It really didn't feel like Vampire, but Batman the TTRPG. I like that quote. It felt like Batman the TTRPG because it felt like they were vigilantes, not vampires. Like, they were not monsters. They were not horrible beings. They were not these vile creatures that survive off of the lifeblood of other humans. Oliver. Okay. I played a pre-gen both times. Leonardo was clutch. Was clutch with shadows, and he could use them to literally break shit and break into shit. That fucking rocked. Played Adrian game 2, which was kind of lame, but I guess it's what I get for playing the Toreador. He doesn't like Toreadors. There was like nothing I could do in some scenes except look for shit, and combat honestly was brutal. Thank fuck for quickening, or he would have been dead first fight. I looked at Adrian's character sheet. I'm gonna say right now, and I told Oliver this, that was a skill issue. That was on his part, not the game, because the character sheet actually had some useful shit for combat. It's just, you've got to think and finagle. Beth and Sammy actually didn't give me comments on this other than we will not be playtesting it again until the final version is out. So looks like when the beta comes out, I have to find 2 new players, which is fine. But I did ask them a couple questions and they agreed that these streamlined mechanics really removed the vampiric monstrous aspect that we know and love from Vampire the Masquerade. I mean, it's the reason why a lot of us fell in love with the game. We got to play versions of ourselves that might not necessarily be safe. Personally, Vampire the Masquerade for me, when I'm a player, is very much catharsis. And that was taken completely from the feel of this. I tried not to get super stuck up on the things I did or didn't like about V6 while playtesting it. I tried to go into it with an open mind, and it just felt slow. It felt wrong, because again, I've been playing for so long, my brain is like, what are you doing? There's hope for the game. All in all, my players had fun, which even at the end of the day, even when I don't have fun, that is really all I care about, is creating this fun moment with my friends, with my players, with my good old buddies. But there's more worry that has begun to creep. A little more worry has begun to creep. I really feel like my rambling got off topic. I don't know. But with that being said, this is going to probably be my last video covering V6 for at least a bit, because I'm going to wait until the update, and we are right around the corner from October. So, as we can see here, I have a lovely little schedule. This is how we're going to be doing the posting for the When the River City Sleeps series. This is the one shot that I have been talking to you guys here and there about, just barely mentioning. We are finally here. It is filmed, well, most of it. Most of it is edited. All of the assets are done. And actually, you know what? Let me share one of my assets. So here's a little sneak peek at When the River City Sleeps. So all this to say, there's a poll on my channel for what you guys want to see lore-wise. When the River City Sleeps is coming around the corner in October. The first episode is going to be posted October 4th. And that episode features actually my buddy Caden, who is another creator of this medium. I will be taking a hiatus for a month to kind of self-care things, you know, doing the stuff. I really appreciate everybody who is here. We are creeping closer and closer to 1K, which is phenomenal. I do have a live stream on September 11th that is going to be a Ask Me Anything to celebrate 500. I hope to see you guys there. I really look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about the playtests. If you guys have run any with your group, let me know. I am curious to see how other people's games went. I've actually been avoiding all of the videos talking about people's playtests. So, Editor Cassidy here. Hi, ignore the messy room and the messy me. The Dev Diaries. We have a new one.
and I would like to go ahead and read it to you guys. One of our goals for doing such an early alpha was to try a bunch of new stuff out and see what people bounce off of and what has some real meat to it. I can't read. Please bear with me. Some of these elements are early winners, and some are, okay, this isn't working, let's move on. And it's no secret that there is no universal take on what different players and storytellers want from Vampire the Masquerade. And without a big open playtest, we would just be doing this based on vibes from our own bubbles. This public playtest exists because we want to make this in conjunction with the whole community. And alpha is the earliest and most raw experimental iteration, and there will be more to come. We will be closing down the feedback forms as of August 28th, so as of posting, you guys have 3 days. And it will take us a few weeks to process the data, but we have been iterating on options in the meantime. I did want to have a quick personal hit and miss examples for running tables at Gen Con as the teams began to return from their summer holidays and start their big deep dives into the next phase of the playtest. A hit was the maturing disciplines. Agreed. A miss was the drama. In a game of heroic fiction, metacurrencies like drama can really work well to generate a sense of shared narrative because heroes are generally competent people who win. The currency can introduce friction that the story doesn't naturally generate on its own without seeming punitive or pushing to the players or punishing to the players, since the players choose to generate the consequences. But what about when the player characters are not heroes and your genre is not heroic fiction? Horror tends to work on a ratchet, not a budget. The best part of the drama was the anxiety of the players increasing as the pile increased. But for me as a storyteller, it performed more like bookkeeping without a diegetic anchor. In VTM, most of the power already lives with the players to create their own complications. The things complicating your night is right there on your character sheet. If your storyteller has to spend points to make something worse, it implies worse, maybe scarce, but it's right there with you. The beast riding shotgun in your cold flesh, the eternal tension between power and it costs, etc. Remember, this is an alpha, the very beginning of this journey together. We look forward to sharing lots more in future dev diaries. In the meantime, the team is continuing to iterate on what we already seen and begin to review the subliminal feedback. We're incredibly grateful for the time and energy you've given to this process. We can't wait to hear more from you. So, there's that.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and comment. And if you are not subscribed, I swear to God, there are 80. I'm gonna do the thing. 87% of you are not subscribed. What are you doing with your life? I make amazing videos. You see. I hope I earned your subscription by this point. Anyway, thank you guys again so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.